Oh my God, there's Scott Hall just got out the limo. Oh my God, Violent J just got out the limo. Hey, there's Dirty. And then I get out and they're like, who the hell is this guy?
Built an empire of sound as the bridges were falling down. In the midst of endless time, we have built along this line.
Welcome to the first edition of Rameriz Road Stories. Now, for my first story, let me give a preference. I have seen a lot of the country in my days. I've been a truck driver, and I've traveled here, there, and everywhere. And I've also done music for God knows how many years. And through touring for shows, doing shows, state to state, seen a lot of stuff. But today I want to tell you guys about the day I rode in a limousine with Scott Hall. This should be a good one. Now, let's go back. This must have been 08 or 09. I believe it was 08. This was Christmas of 08. And my buddy Dave, I call him Dave. Actually, you'd probably know him as Boondocks if you looked him up. He got signed to Psychopathic Records at the time. And I went up there for the Big Ballers Christmas party with him one year. And first time I'd been to a Psychopathic Records event with him at all, besides going to shows here and there when they would come to Atlanta or something like that. And so we went up there, and Jesus, I could not believe how freaking cold it was. Coming from Georgia, where it was probably 60 degrees at the time, we got up to Detroit, and it was 9 degrees. 9 degrees with a wind chill of like -3. And I had never felt this brutally cold weather by that point in time. Now, in the years after, I came to spend time here and there in Detroit a good bit, so I got used to that type of weather and just being in the north from time to time, but I was completely amazed at how cold it was coming from Georgia to Detroit. But, so we got up there, and we stayed in the hotel overnight, the night before the show, after we arrived in Michigan. And so the night come that we were going to go to the Big Ballers Christmas party. And Dave never really communicated much with anyone. I can't say just me, because the dude never really talked that much. So I really didn't know the plans. I was just along for the ride. And we get over to the Psychopathic headquarters, the studio where studio and warehouse, where they do all their business. The entire Psychopathic Records business is done out of this one building in Farmington, Michigan, which is just outside the west side of Detroit. And so we pull up there. It's getting late at night, not too long till the show starts. We pull up there, and there's a few people standing outside, and there's a huge limousine sitting right outside the office. And I'm like, wow, who's going to be riding in that? It was amazing. I had never rode in a limo in my life at this point in time. And I notice there's Violent J standing over there. There's a dude in a referee shirt for some reason, which later I came to know was Kevin Gill, KG. Does a lot of the independent wrestling shows out in California and around. And there was Scott Hall standing outside in this freezing 9-degree weather, wearing a Psychopathic hockey jersey and shorts. He was wearing shorts. The man is a beast, obviously. Either that or he has some antifreeze going on. But, we get out, and I'm still wondering, well, obviously Scott Hall, Violent J, and whoever's going to be riding in that limo, we're going to follow him up in the SUV that we came in. So no, Violent J yells over to us, guys, come on, get in, let's go. We all pile in. There's probably 10 of us all together. We pile into this limo, and on the far corner is KG, a couple other guys, Psychopathic Records guys that I really don't remember exactly who they are right now. Dave and his significant other at the time was sitting there beside me, and then there was me. Then there was Violent J and his wife sitting right next to me on the other side. So me not really knowing these people, I just stayed quiet the whole time. I was just taking in everything I could. So during this ride, we're actually going to, I believe it was called the Crow's Foot in, I want to say it was in Pontiac. I think we were going to Pontiac, Michigan that night. And one thing I do remember about the ride is coming out of that brutal cold that I was not really dressed for. I was dressed for Georgia cold, but this was now Michigan cold. But we pile in this limo, and this limo driver, I swear, has it about 110 degrees in there. Scott Hall was dressed appropriately, obviously. And I was dying. I could not breathe. It was so freaking hot in this limo. But I think eventually Violent J yells up like, "Hey, bro, what's going on with this heat? It's ridiculous back here. We're all dying." But I think the limo driver eventually corrected the problem there. So now the main part of this story is Scott Hall was holding court in this limo, and we were all, besides the few things that Violent J would throw in, like, "Hey, Dirty, we're working on a new album. You know, it's going to be called blah, blah, blah," whatever it was at the time that they were working on. And Scott Hall was holding court. And everybody was just tuned in to these magnificent stories that Scott Hall was spewing out along this ride. And it was amazing. He gave us the lowdown on the ladder match that him and Sean had back in the day. And I'm just sitting here marking out, you know, I'm a fan at this point. And I'm like, "This is Scott Hall over there. What? Scott Hall, he's sitting right there. He's talking about the ladder match that I watched when I was a kid. Him and Shawn Michaels, the first ladder match." And I'm like, "Oh my God." He's talking about botches, like, oh, you know, Shawn was supposed to do this, and I was supposed to do that. Man, Scott Hall was an amazing dude. Now, here's one sidebar to the story. I believe at this time, Scott Hall was supposed to be in recovery and staying clean. I mean, we all know the story that later on he would hop off the wagon, you know, here and there, and go back and forth, and ended up with DDP down here in Atlanta at some point, and eventually got his life completely straightened through, you know, DDP yoga and all the things that DDP did for him with the, what do they call it? The reliability house, or accountability crib. That's what it is, the accountability crib. But, so back then, Scott Hall is supposed to be staying clean. He's had a problem with drinking for a long time. You know, and I'm not here to judge the man's life. I mean, this is just what he was going through at the time. We all believed he was clean at the time. You know, that was the story going around, especially in the dirt sheets and throughout the industry, that Scott Hall's clean, guys. You know, he's getting his life back together. And we all know that a few months later, there would be that video surface, or may have been over a year later, but I say a few months, that he was going to the ring one day at this indie event, and you can find this on YouTube. And Scott Hall did not look great in that video. He ended up getting off the plane ride and had a few too many pills, drinks, and whatever. You know, and I'm not here to discredit the man's reputation or anything like that, but he had some rough times, you know, and he really, really blew it at that show. But we all know that he got clean eventually. So this night at the Big Ballers, we're all in the VIP. Once we got there, we had to go in right through the front door with all the fans standing out there screaming like, "Oh my God, there's Scott Hall, just got out the limo. Oh my God, Violent J just got out the limo. Hey, there's Dirty." And then I get out and they're like, "Who the hell is this guy?" "Oh my God, there's Scott Hall, just got out the limo. Oh my God, Violent J just got out the limo. Hey, there's Dirty." And then I get out and they're like, "Who the hell is this guy? The hell are you doing in there?" And I'm like, "Hey, it's me. You don't know me." All right. But I make it up to VIP with everybody else, so I'm big balling myself, and I'm chilling up there with everybody. I met Shaggy 2 Dope for the first time that night. And Shaggy was getting lit too during the night. And he had this pimped out suit, the 3-piece pimp suit, with the fancy colors, had this cane with diamonds all in it, and came up to me after a few drinks and he was like, "Hey, bro, I see you over there. I see that challenge." Excuse me? I saw that challenge. I don't know whether to come up and give you some dap or crack you in the face with my cane. I'm like, all right, bro. I mean, you do what you gotta do. I mean, I would hope that we could take it a different direction. But if that's what you gotta do, then that's what you gotta do. That is the exact words I told him that night. He takes a step back. He's like, "You know what? I like that." Gave me some dap. Gave me a cheers, even though I wasn't drinking. He went on his way, man. Shaggy turned out to be a really cool dude. So, at some point in the night, Dave, Boondocks' hype man, comes up to me. We all called him Cletus because that was his stage name at the time. He comes up to me. He's like, "Look, bro, look over there." I'm like, "Oh, Scott Hall's at the bar." He's at the bar. He's supposed to be clean. Scott Hall's taking shots. Taking shots. Shaggy's taking shots. They're just down in it. They're living it up tonight. The show goes on. Scott Hall makes his appearance. Shaggy makes his appearance, does the show, does the little wrestling thing, they get through with the show. At the end of the night, everybody's got to go out on stage. And I'm staying up in VIP watching this. I'm watching over the crowd, up in the crow's nest, watching, all the things that are taking place. They had their wrestling matches. Then they had taken the ropes off and used the wrestling ring as a stage where the performers, the rappers, all got up and did their sets. And night was over. They brought everybody back out at the very end. All the rappers that were there that night and all the wrestlers, everybody got out and, gave the fans a big hidey ho. You guys, thank you all for coming out. We love you guys. Love you, you. Shaggy is lit. Scott Hall's lit. Shaggy takes it upon himself, while all the performers are walking back off stage, to go ahead and start a little impromptu match with Scott Hall at the end of this show. Why? To this day, nobody has an answer for it. We don't know why. He just did it. Okay, so Shaggy gives this sweet little kick. Scott's like, "Oh, should I be selling this? Like, what are we doing here?" And Scott's like, "Okay." Gives him a little working punch back. Shaggy's like, "All right, bro, we're done." We looking at each other back there in the VIP like, what are they doing out there? Is that a match? Is it? All right, they leaving. Everybody's getting back. So we all pile in the limo. It's all over. The show's over. Scott Hall's like, "Hey, yo, what was Shaggy doing back there? He wanted to have a match." So I go to give him a working punch. Shaggy starts screaming out, "Hey, I can't take no bumps. I can't take no bumps." Now, if you remember, Shaggy got hurt in WCW during one of his final matches with Mike Awesome. He powerbombed him on top of a bus, slid off the side, landed on the concrete, and ended up rupturing one of his vertebrae or something. Really messed the guy up. He never could wrestle after that. But he's out there drunk trying to start a match with Scott Hall at the end of the show. Scott Hall's like, "Yeah," he's yelling at me, "I can't take no bumps." The guy's like, what are we doing here? Why are we starting a match if you can't take no bumps?" But anyway, one part of the story I forgot. I just wanted to get this out. This is basically the end of the night. He goes back and he's like, "I don't know what Shaggy's doing." They were both lit. That's what they were doing. But one funny thing that I forgot to mention on the ride in, Scott Hall, in the midst of holding court and telling these stories, he starts talking about, "Hey, bro, think I want to start a fake fight tonight. I'm going to fake fuck somebody up. Anybody want to get into a fake fight with me, you come and fake see me. And it was so funny. Just hearing Razor Ramon, the bad guy, cutting this promo in the back seat of a limo to everybody back there, talking about, hey, I'm gonna start this fake fight. Anybody want to fake fight with me? You come and fake see me, and we'll fake fucking do it. It's so funny. But anyway, guys, that was my limo ride with Scott Hall. And I hope you enjoyed this little story. Just a quick little story. I got this out. There's plenty more to come. I have seen many, many things while out on the road. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. This is the Trash Talkers, and this is Rameriz Road Stories. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Deuces.
Built an empire.